Kubernetes Resources. In this video, we will explore the different types of resources in Kubernetes and how they enable the efficient deployment and management of containerized workloads. Let's dive in. So the first one is pods. So what is a pod? The fundamental unit of deployment in Kubernetes is the pod. A pod represents a single instance of a running process in your cluster. It can contain one or more containers that are tightly coupled and share the same resources, such as network and storage. One worker node may contain more than one pod. Pods are scheduled and managed as a single entity in Kubernetes, and each pod can contain one or more containers. One worker node can contain one or more pods. It depends on how they are scheduled and how it is required by the workload. The scheduling of pod is done by scheduler from the master node. Each pod have their own IP address, which is shared by the containers running inside the pod. The next is deployment. Deployment is the declarative way to manage and scale your application. A deployment resource allows you to specify the desired state of your application, including the number of replicas, container images, and other configuration parameters. Kubernetes ensures that the desired state is maintained. Now let's see how the pods are scheduled when a deployment is there. So suppose there's a deployment A with 2 pods or 2 replicas, and there's deployment B with 3 replicas. Let's say we have 3 worker nodes. So that's how we can divide the workload amongst the worker nodes, and we have our required state of 2 replicas of deployment A and 3 replicas of deployment B. On the side note, I thought of naming it as pod A, but that will become poda, so no. Anyways, suppose you change the deployment replicas of B to 2. Now we need to remove a container. So which one it will be? It can be either of these two. The reason is simple. Since we are trying to optimize the workload, we will remove it from one of the loaded worker nodes. Now let's suppose our worker node 2 has failed due to any reason, and our replica requirement is same, 2 pods for deployment A and 2 pods for deployment B. Then it will schedule pod B to worker 1 and pod A to worker 3. The reason being, we can have a distributed system, which means even if my worker 3 goes down, my services won't have any downtime, and I can bring up another worker node in the meanwhile. And similar thing for worker 1, where pod B is scheduled right now. Another resource is services. Services enables network connectivity and load balancing for your applications. If you remember, each pod have their own IP address, but these pods are of dynamic nature, means they will be created and destroyed on the go, and with them the IP address will change. So to come up with a solution, we have these services. So these services provide a stable network endpoint that abstracts the dynamic nature of pods. It provides a consistent way to access and communicate with your application, both internally and externally. Now, ConfigMap and Secrets. These are the resources that allows you to manage configuration data and sensitive information for your cluster. ConfigMap stores non-sensitive configuration settings such as key value pairs, which can be accessed by your application containers. Secrets, on the other hand, securely stores sensitive data such as passwords or API keys to ensure that they are not accessible by unauthorized entities. So these values are stored as base 64 encoded. When you assign the username inside the container as an environment, it will be decoded and can be used for your application. Now, persistent volume and persistent volume claims. Persistent volume provides a way to decouple your storage from the pod. You can understand them as volumes that we have for Docker, and you can correlate it just like a node. So they have a life cycle independent of the individual pod that uses this persistent volume. And for the persistent volume claim, it is a request for storage by a user. It is similar to a pod. Pod consumes node resources. The PVC consumes PV resources. Pods can request specific level of resources like CPU and memory. Similarly, PVC can claim specific size and access modes such as read-write once, read-only many, read-write many, etc. Now comes the stateful sets resources. These are the resources designed for managing stateful applications like databases. They provide guarantees about ordering and uniqueness of pod, ensuring stable network identities and persistent storage across scaling operations and node failures. Like a deployment, stateful state manages pods that are based on identical container specifications. Unlike a deployment, a stateful set maintains a sticky identity for each of its pods. These pods are created from the same specifications but are not interchangeable. Each has a persistent identifier that it maintains across any rescheduling. Another important resource is DaemonSets. DaemonSets ensures a specific pod run on every node of the cluster. So these are useful for deploying cluster level services or agents that need to be run on every node. For example, log collectors or monitoring agent. A daemon set ensures that all the nodes run a copy of a pod. As nodes are added to the cluster, pods are added to them. As nodes are removed from the cluster, the pods are garbage collected. Deleting a daemon set will clean up the pods it created. Now, jobs and cron job. Jobs and cron jobs are resources used for running batch or periodic tasks in the cluster. Jobs create pods to run a specific task, while cron jobs schedule jobs at predefined intervals, enabling automation and scheduling of recurring workloads. So Kubernetes provides a wide range of resources that empowers you to define, deploy, manage your containerized workloads with ease. By leveraging these resources effectively, you can achieve scalability, fault tolerance, and efficient resource utilization within your cluster. We have covered just the basic resources which are usually required by common clusters, but there are many more resources to explore. I hope you have learned something new today. If you have any questions regarding these resources or to any other resources, just let me know in the comment section. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for more insightful content on Kubernetes, containerization, and other exciting technology topics. Thank you for watching.